instead of worrying about who you're going to upset or what drama you're going to cause by who you're inviting, think about the ambiance that you want for your big day. Think about the vibe. Who is going to make that a reality? Who do you really want to be by your side while you marry the partner of your dreams? Guys, I am so excited. First of all, I'm in the process of filming a new season of wedding planning videos for you. So get ready for some brand new videos coming at you in the next couple of weeks. If you're not already, be sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss those. Also, guess what? The Bride Society is open for spring enrollment right now through March 14th. I'm so stinking excited for this new class of brides to join my membership program. It's going to be so fun. The Bride Society is the place for brides who are wanting to get super organized, brides who want to have all of the inside info before making important planning decisions, and brides who want other brides and me to bounce ideas off of, celebrate wins, and support navigating the challenges that arise in the wedding planning process. If this sounds like you, I would love for you to join me. Your membership includes the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner Workbook, the Be Your Own Wedding Planner course, access to the Bride Society members only Facebook group, plus a bunch of exclusive bonus content and deals and discounts on all things wedding, like favors, flowers, invitations, etc. Enrollment is only open until this Sunday, March 14th, so go grab your spot right now. If you're watching this and you missed the open enrollment, don't worry, you can still get my Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planning Workbook to get you started and get you organized. And I will be accepting new members into the Bride Society again later this year, probably in the fall. So hop over to the links in the description and I can't wait to start planning with you. And let's get into today's video. In this video, I'm going to talk about who you should invite to your wedding and who you shouldn't. And then I'm also going to show you how to create your guest list and how to manage it and organize it. This part of the planning process can get a little sticky and a little dramatic, but just like anything else in wedding planning, it's totally up to you how dramatic it actually is. So I'm going to walk you through the logical way to do this and hopefully save you as much drama as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to break your guest list down just like we broke your budget down. We're going to create a list of groups, a list of categories, and we're going to allocate your total guest count among those categories. So the first thing you obviously need to do here is figure out your total guest count. This is going to be decided by a few factors. Number one is your venue capacity. You can't have more than your venue will allow. And then also your budget. If you have a smaller budget, you might want to consider inviting less people. It just makes your life a little bit easier. And then also the vibe of the party that you want. If you're wanting something super intimate where you can really spend a lot of time with people, then you're only probably going to want to invite your close friends and family. But if you're wanting some big extravaganza, big party, then you have a bigger guest list to work with. So look through your venue contract if you have that already, and your budget, and kind of decide where you want to be on your guest count. The average wedding is about 150 to 200 guests. This might be way too much for you, this might not be enough for you, but that's kind of a starting point to start thinking about how many people you actually want to invite. And seriously, be sure you double check your venue contract, because you don't want to create this huge guest list and then find out that the venue that you already signed on isn't going to fit them. So make sure you know exactly how many people you can actually have at your venue. So once you have that total number, your total target guest count number, then you're going to break it down into different categories. The different categories that I suggest you use are the bride's family, the bride's friends, the groom's family, the groom's friends, the bride's parents' friends, if you're allowing your parents to invite people, and the groom's parents' friends. And then you might have some other people who you are going to allow to add to your guest list as well. I talk about this in my budget video, I'll link it below, but Usually the people who are investing money into your event are going to expect some say in the guest list. Whoever you are accepting money from, you'll definitely want to sit down with them and have a conversation of their expectations around how many people they're able to invite. Instead of worrying about who you're going to upset or what drama you're going to cause by who you're inviting, think about the ambiance that you want for your big day. Think about the vibe. Who is going to make that a reality? Who do you really want to be by your side while you marry the partner of your dreams? The people who you invite are definitely going to influence how the day goes. Also, the people who you don't invite are going to not have an influence on how your day goes. If you're considering not inviting someone, decide whether they will contribute to the vision that you're going for or they'll take away from it. And maybe you just need to have a conversation with them. The wedding brings up all of this drama, but it also is a great time to sit down with people and be super authentic and vulnerable and say, hey, I don't know if I want to invite you to our wedding because I'm worried about this, this, and this. And it's kind of a great opportunity to really get stuff out there and clean up relationships in your life. So the amazing thing about having your guest list broken down into these like budgets is that you can tell people that you just don't have the capacity to be able to invite everyone, and it's a great excuse to get out of inviting those people that you really don't want to. So once you have your allocations, be sure that you stick to them, because if you keep going over in all of them, then you're going to invite way too many people and you're going to blow your budget and possibly your venue capacity. So don't do that. Be sure that you're really sticking to the budgets that you set forth for this, and then if you need to adjust, that's totally fine. Just be sure that you're conscious about, hey, we need to add more to this category, so where can we pull headcount from another category to be able to do that. It's also great to be able to tell your parents and your partner's parents how many people they can invite, and then they get to decide what they're going to do with that amount. So they can't come back to you and be like, oh, but I want to invite so-and-so and so-and-so. It's like, you have this many people. You have 12 people that you get to invite outside of all of our family and everything. So do what you want with it. Invite whoever you want. So it's kind of nice to have them make that decision instead of having to tell them no to specific people or having them coming to ask you all the time. It's like, no, you have 12 people and that is it. So the next part of creating your guest list is creating your guest list. So what we're going to do first is create 2 guest lists. We're going to write down every single person's name who you might consider inviting, and they're going to go on either the A list, which is they're definitely invited, or the B list. So the first step is really just getting people's names down on paper. So you're going to want to write down their name, how many guests you are inviting in their party, so if they have a +1 or maybe they have a +1 in their kids and everything, just write down how many people are invited and then write down the group that they're in, and then you're going to write them on either the A list or the B list. You don't need to fill in all the details right now because you might have to take people off of the list if you have too many people that you're inviting, so don't waste time right now trying to figure out addresses and everything. We're going to get a final list and then we'll go get addresses, and so that you're not wasting any time on that. So once you go through and fill in your A list and B list and add it all up and see where you stand, then if your A list is above your total guest count, then you need to take people off and move them over to the B list. If it is below, then you can definitely move people from your B list to your A list, but you don't have to. Being below is not bad. One thing to note with creating your guest list is about 20% of people will decline the RSVP. That's just an average. It might be different for you, so don't go crazy with inviting people, extra people, hoping a bunch of people will decline. But you do have some wiggle room. If you are 5 or 10 over your total guest count, don't worry about it because you can definitely expect some declines. If you're still stressing about getting to your ideal number, here are my little rules you might want to apply to be able to cut some people out of the list. So number 1 is you might want to do an adult-only party. If you have tons of kids in your family and in your friends, this can definitely help you keep the number down by saying, sorry, this is an adults-only wedding. And people won't get offended by that. It's totally normal to do that. My second rule is no MIA friends. If you haven't talked to somebody for over 2 years, they do not make the list. This also can go for family too. So if you're having a hard time to figure out who to cut from your list, if you need to decrease your family count, If you haven't talked to people for over 2 years, they shouldn't expect to be invited to your wedding. And if they are, then maybe they'll actually give you a call every once in a while. But a good rule of thumb is if you haven't talked in 2 years, then you definitely don't need to invite them. And rule number 3, this one is a little bit hard for some people, but it's no pity parties. Do not invite people just because you feel bad or you feel obligated. If you have a bunch of people there who you don't really want there, you're not gonna feel totally comfortable, and you might actually feel even a little bit stressed or upset, and that's gonna totally ruin your big day. And you only get one, so be sure that you're not inviting people just because you feel obligated or you feel bad. This also goes for people who invited you to their wedding. Just because somebody invited you to their wedding does not mean that you have to invite them to your wedding, especially if you don't want them there. Don't do it. No pity parties. Like I said, the best way to do this is to stick to your category limits. If you're over on your total guest count, go through and see which categories you're over in and just take people off of the list. Remember, who you invite totally sets the tone and the vibe for your big day. When you walk down that aisle, you want to be in front of all the people who you know and love. You don't want anyone there who's going to take anything away from your dream day. And then once your guest list is full and you've figured out all of your categories and who to invite, then you can go through and start filling in the addresses, the email addresses, and the phone numbers. I highly suggest collecting all of those points of contact just in case you need to get in contact with people if they don't RSVP, because that happens a lot. You just want to have everybody's different contact information so that you can definitely get in contact with them if you need to. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful, and be sure that you're subscribed. I am going to do more videos focused on relationship and creating an amazing marriage, as well as a lot more wedding planning content. So be sure that you're subscribed for that and your little bell notification is turned on so you don't miss any of my new videos. We'll see you next time. Happy planning.